Good morning. Well, I've seen about enough of this back and forth with the startup of all this stuff in Israel again and people's comments about it. And, a lot of friends, a lot of people I've known for a long time, and they're just fed right into the whole war story, and, well, Israel's got a right to defend itself against Hamas. Well, Israel and the U.S. has created Hamas, Hezbollah, Al Qaeda. I mean, in this day and age of ability to get information, I can't believe that people are still, oh, what Israel must be defended at all costs. And well, it says so in the Bible, or some other nonsense like that, where they just sell out. Oh well, whatever Israel does is okay. You know, Clearly Hamas and Hezbollah and Al Qaeda were created by Israel and the U.S. in order to keep conducting a constant state of war. Now, how people can can twist this and turn it up and defend it, people should be ashamed of themselves for defending Israel, who's going after Hamas, who has little homemade bottle rockets, basically, with F-16 strikes with laser guided bombs. And the only people that they're basically killing, besides the Hamas leader who had drawn up peace plans, well, they had to take him out. Plus, and since then, the only casualties have been little kids, basically. A bunch of little kids. They said they attacked the Hamas headquarters. And, the only casualty was another 11-month-old kid. Here's Netanyahu. You see, these people all admit it. They've all admitted it, but people still deny it. People deny that they created Hamas themselves. But Netanyahu, he's here in a video, which I'll include you down below, which says, oh, the American people are stupid. See, we do what we want. The American people, they'll follow and do whatever they're told. So there's Netanyahu himself saying that anybody believes what we're doing is, well, they're idiots. Here, just from Sunday, from George Washington's blog, creating the enemies we now fight against. And I'll include this to you too. I just want to read a little bit of stuff from it. Okay, we've extensively documented that the U.S. and Israel created Al Qaeda and other terrorist groups in an attempt to fight other enemies. Exactly. See, they create an enemy, and now look everywhere we've gone. Oh, Al Qaeda's there. Well, yeah, we're funding them, but see, we have to go fight them. And people believe this stuff. People go along with it. Oh, yeah, well, they're our enemy. Oh, whatever. Larry Johnson, a counterterrorism official at the U.S. State Department, says the Israelis are their own worst enemies when it comes to fighting terrorism. They are like a guy who sets fire to his hair and tries to put it out by hitting it with a hammer. They do more to incite and sustain terrorism than curb it. Israel is the center of terrorism in the world. As one example, Israel helped create Hamas. Veteran journalist Robert Dreyfus writes, in the decades before 9/11, hardcore activists and organizations among Muslim fundamentalists on the far right were often viewed as allies for two reasons. Because they were seen a fierce anti-communists, and because they opposed secular nationalists such as Egypt's Gamal Nasser, Iran's Mohammed Massadeh. In Syria, the United States, Israel, and Jordan supported the Muslim Brotherhood, again, as we're doing today, in a civil war against Syria. And Israel quietly backed Ahmad Yassin and the Muslim Brotherhood in the West Bank and Gaza, leading to the establishment of Hamas. See, I want to read some of this stuff so people just don't come on here and say, oh, where'd you hear that at? All over the media, from Israelis themselves, from terrorism people in our own country. According to former U.S. Ambassador to Saudi Arabia, Charles Freeman, Shin Bet, the Israeli counterintelligence and internal security service, knowingly created Hamas. Israel started Hamas. It was a project of Shin Bet which had a feeling that they could use it to hem in the PLO. So this is exactly what's going on. We just run around, we create our own enemies in order to start and justify all these military operations. Oh, gotta grow the military. The military always needs something to do. So we'll create enemies, we'll put them in there, and then we can go and fight and take them over. Now, I wanted to read one more thing from, if I can find it, just from this article from the Wall Street Journal, noted in 2009. For anybody who's, oh, where did you get all this stuff from? Oh, you're just making it up. Okay, the Wall Street Journal in 2009 said, Hamas, to my great regret, is Israel's creation, says Israeli official Avner Cohen, a Tunisian-born Jew who worked in Gaza for more than 2 decades, responsible for religious affairs in the region until '94. Cohen watched the Islamist movement take shape, muscle aside secular Palestinian rivals, and then morph into what it is today, Hamas, a militant group that has sworn to Israel's destruction. Israel created Hamas in order to have a group that's sworn to Israel's destruction. Instead of trying to curb Gaza's Islamists from the outset, says Mr. Cohen, Israel for years tolerated and in some cases encouraged them as a counterweight to the secular nationalists of the Palestinian Liberation Organization, the PLO, and its dominant faction, Yasser Arafat's Fatah. Israel coordinated with a crippled, half-blind cleric named Sheikh Yassin, even as he was laying the foundations for what would become Hamas. Sheikh Yassin continues to inspire militants today. During the recent war in Gaza, Hamas fighters confronted Israeli troops with Yassin's primitive rocket-propelled grenades, named in honor of the cleric, the Yassin rockets. This article has a great deal more in it from the Washington Post and all kinds of other places admitting that Israel and the U.S. creates its own enemies, all of them. Hamas, Hezbollah, Al-Qaeda were all created by us. I mean, this is ridiculous. And then you get people, oh, well, we have to fight them. Israel must be defended. And they'll be onset from all sides by enemies and stuff. Yeah, enemies that you created. All right, and the ongoing operations in Gaza are nothing but just a slaughter. These people who go on and on about the killing over here. Oh, we must go and stop it. These people want it. They all want it. So now I'll just leave these links for you. Take a look at it, for anybody who wants to support Israel. There's Netanyahu saying, in America we can depend on them being idiots. And then read the rest of this stuff and try to think if you still support, Israel, and the U.S. for that matter in all these operations, Oh, we got to go in and stop Al-Qaeda. You created them. Anyway, that's all I got. Thanks a lot.